Hello, and welcome to My World to Travel, a travel channel created by travel professionals for all the travel dreamers out there, talking about COVID times, talking about travel times, talking about places we've been, places we wish to go in the future. Today we're going to be talking about Tahiti. I'm enjoying a cup of coffee, and let's see who's in my Zoom. Oh my God, Rolf, what's going on?
Hey, Andre, just checking in.
You know, you're looking good. I like the fashion style. Like this is sharp, sharp.
Tahiti, Hinano coffee mug.
Oh my
I'm all
God, I'm
over it.
enjoying some Tahitian coffee myself. It's good to
Good
see
for
you.
you.
Somebody else is joining us. Let's see. Oh my God, hold on. Who is it going to be? Oh my God, Tina, what's going on?
How are you?
Oh, great to see you. It's been so long. I think it's been since the time we were in Tahiti.
Exactly, right before the shutdown.
That's right. We were in that plane where we thought everyone had COVID around us. And then, everyone was coughing and it was very interesting. You know who else was there? Christina. And I think she's crashing this party also. Hey, Christina, how you doing?
I'm good, Andre. How are you? Oh my God, is that Tina and Rolf?
Hey, nice to see you.
Hey, what a surprise. Didn't think you'd be here.
I know. What is this? Is this the Branga? We just all showed up? What happened,
Oh my God, I think
Andre?
we did it again.
Awesome.
Well,
good morning,
And
everyone.
last time we saw Christina and Andre, last time we saw each other, it was in paradise, wasn't it?
yes, it was.
So we're all living.
I
Yes,
can
it was.
still taste bubbles and see the sunset.
We're going to be talking about Tahiti and kind of like the food and the amazing culture that this country has. Christina has been the number one person in my life that from the moment I met her exuded Tahiti, exuded that the passion, the mana, the joy that it brought to her life. Tina guided me through this amazing experience for a first timer. And it was wonderful. She was wonderful. She made us feel comfortable. She introduced us to amazing chefs. She fed us way too much, and we all somehow came back.
I love
without
champagne,
connection.
don't forget.
That's right, and champagne all the time. For the champagne lovers, there's no better destination. So, Rob, do you want to talk about how your experience with Tahiti is?
Yeah, well, I was introduced to Tahiti about 30 years ago plus, because when I worked for Club Med, which isn't as prevalent as it was then, but was pretty big back in the 80s and 90s. And I led some groups of agents down there to the Club Med in Moorea, which has long been closed now, unfortunately, sadly. But going down there a few times with groups of agents, I just absolutely fell in love. I'd been to some beautiful Club Meds in the Caribbean and Mexico and Bahamas and so forth, but that just totally blew me away, blew my mind. I was like, wow, I've never seen anything this beautiful in my life in a natural setting like this. So I went down probably 3 times to the Club Med in Moorea, hosted groups of agents, ran around that island, biked there, took the flight from Papeete to Moorea, which is like 7 minutes to fly over there. But it was just incredible and all inclusive. The forays, the beach, the nightclub, it was right over the water. I just have these amazing memories of going there. And now working for a cruise line that goes only to French Polynesia and Tahiti just reinforces every time I go down there. And speaking of Christina, we went together a few years ago and shared that. So yeah, there's no more beautiful place on earth in a natural setting, to me, my opinion, humble opinion, than Tahiti. And I'll always stick by that. It's awe-inspiring. So, and the people, the culture, the mana you mentioned, the energy, it's just a spiritual connection. It's a place on the planet unlike any other. So I'll rave until my eyes are shot, my throat is sore, but it's amazing.
What about you, Tina?
It's actually very bizarre. It was like a calling, if you will. Back in 2008, I was looking for a job, and I knew that Los Angeles was a key market for the islands of Tahiti. So I really wanted to find something, either at the airline or tourism board, a job that will help me work with the islands. So back in the day, we did a lot of the job offers were actually on Craigslist. And they didn't let you know of the title, basically, of the name of the company, if you will. So I just love the job description. And one day I go to the interview and I see it's the tourism board of Tahiti without knowing. So thankfully, I got a job in PR, worked my way up to become director of communications. So I worked for Tahiti for Tahiti tourism about 6 years. And while I was there, I got to experience, the islands really inside out because I was working with the journalists and the TV productions. We did a lot of scouts and traveling with so many different people throughout the year. So I really know Tahiti by heart. And then after that, I was, again, I guess Tahiti is my calling. So I started working as a sales manager for the 4 beautiful Sofitel properties in French Polynesia. And that's when I met Christina, of course, always here by my side, and Andre. So yeah, I don't know. Tahiti has been in my life for the last 12, 13 years. So I'm not ready to give up the destination. It's part of me now. So it's pretty addictive, It's an addictive destination. And I've been very lucky to promote beautiful islands.
It's interesting because listening to both Rolf and Tina talk, and Andre as well, you all bring up things that remind me of why I love the destination so much. Rolf is completely accurate when he says it's natural and unspoiled. And that's what I think about when I go, is because every time, and I've been very fortunate to go every year for the last 20 years, basically, to discover either a new island, for me, a new resort, a new activity, but you still have that unspoiled feeling wherever you go, and that natural beauty never disappoints. The postcards you see, the videos you see, they pale in comparison to the colors in real life. And I love what Tina was talking about, how back in the day, these jobs were on Craigslist and how things were so different. But in Tahiti, in a way, time stands still. So even though you'll always discover something more when you go there, there's a certain quality that's timelessness there.
And of course, when you mentioned that it's, it's still stuck in time, as we've talked about before, the Wi-Fi is not. The internet is flowing so that you can post your Instagram photos and, do your Zooms from the islands with your family and just make everyone jealous.
That seems to be a theme. I think we're going to all move there and work there, right?
Oh, I'm done.
I wouldn't mind one bit.
Actually, in some travel news, Barbados is, did you guys all see that Barbados is promoting people moving there to work? It was just something interesting I read. I thought that might be a new trend for destinations.
I mean, a lot of the Caribbean islands do want you to move there, and just invest in their economy.
I think what's important is the time zone. We can go literally anywhere where the time zone allow it. And I think that's the beauty of Tahiti, is because it's the same time zone as Hawaii. So basically you could make it to your Zoom meeting and, and everything. So I would be really happy to work from there for sure.
And so right now, to go there, what are some of the things you need to do?
You do need to take, of course, the COVID test 72 hours prior to be able to board the flight to get there. And then obviously the protocols that are in place down in the islands, we have them on our ship. Needless to say, very, very strict enforcement of mask wearing and distancing and keeping the buffets from being the same as they used to be, because they have to avoid that congestion of people. But Ponant, our parent company, is extremely engaged in the safest protocols and securities and so forth on board the ship and off. But again, that COVID test is the key thing that you need to test before you go within 72 hours of departure on the flight.
Well, one of the things we talked about, the countries and of the Caribbean kind of wanting you to invest into the country and move there and potentially just, start a business there. Tahiti has had a different approach. They've come together with all the tourism, I would say, establishments and the airlines to really guarantee that your investment into travel will be protected in case COVID plays a part. Christina, do you want to talk about it some more?
Well, the common cancellation policy is, I think, what you're referring to. And I have to say, in my 2 decades in the travel industry, it's really the most hopeful, responsible, lenient, and generous policy and agreement that I've ever seen. Where as long as you are reserving travel now, meaning until I believe it's September 30th, if something should happen and you are not able to go, all of your funds will be transferred to a future booking up to 2022, I believe, without any cancellation fees. They will be waived and the funds will be transferred. Also, you will be able to receive a refund. It will be within 12 months of your original departure date. Because let's face it, I do have people that are planning on getting on a plane in the next couple of weeks and going to the islands of Tahiti. But not everyone's ready right now, and everyone's comfort level, I think, is a little bit different in these times. So I think it's great to be able to plan and dream now. I'm sure dreaming now. I need to dream, and then knowing that your investment is protected.
In discussing Tahiti, we've covered a lot of, kind of like the 5 reasons why it's an amazing destination, but especially during COVID. And you've touched about the beauty of Tahiti, like the nature and all of the activities, because one of the things we constantly come across is that the destination is just for, couples and romance, and all you do is spend time on the boat or in your stateroom. That if I don't want to do that, Tahiti is not for me. Now, Rolf, so if they're cruising and experiencing the island, what kind of culture, what kind of nature, what kind of experiences will they get to do?
Well, I know Christina will agree with this, having been on board with me in the past. The beauty of the experience that we provide on a ship there is, well, first off, I do want to echo what Christina mentioned about the difference between Hawaii and Tahiti in a sense. I went to Tahiti, as I said, more than 30 years ago. I didn't go back until I started working for this company about 7 years ago. So there was 25 years or so since I visited the first time, few times till I went again. It was just the same. Moorea did not change. There was no Waikiki beach buildup. There was no high rises along the waterfront in any of these islands. And that's the beauty of the culture, is that it is almost stuck in time, but it still has this magic and enchantment that is current always. And the beauty of going island to island down there is that they're all different. Our 7-night society island, we'll go to Huahine, very, very beautiful garden island. Then you hit Taha for a day and a day on a private motu, and it's the vanilla plantations and, that beautiful fragrance and just a sense of this incredible natural wonder. Then 2 days in Bora Bora, 2 days in Moorea. It's just extraordinary because in Hawaii, again, you can go from island to island quite easily, hop on a plane and then you're there. But in Tahiti, you don't have that opportunity to get on a plane because there are few airstrips and you have to take ferries. It's going to be much more time consuming. So to explore each island in a week, a short period of time, to see so much, experience so much with an overnight in Bora Bora and an overnight in Moorea, and that mana, that energy of the people and the culture is different from island to island. What you were talking about, Andre, is there is a consistency, the beauty, the people, the fabulous warmth of the humanity down there, but each island has its own separate, distinct feel and flavor, and that's the beauty of it. Bora Bora is that small crown jewel, just you can bike around it in 2 or 3 hours. Moorea is much larger, but they're both incredibly beautiful, and just so much to say about each destination and the magic they provide. And then the Marquesas, the Tuamotus, and the Cooks, and so on and so forth.
We have to put also things into perspective when we speak about Hawaii, for instance. I mean, Hawaii gets millions of visitors generally in a regular year, to the islands. But Tahiti, I mean, the population is about 270,000 people living in the islands, 118 islands. And then the number of tourists we have in a normal year, not a COVID year, it's about 200,000. It is not a mass tourism destination. So I think for me, that's part of the beauty of the destination as well. Because, whenever I go to Tahiti, it's like I'm going there for the first time. the beauty is something that you've never seen before. So it's, your eyes don't get really used to it. When you land in Bora Bora, you see that airport and the water and everything. It's like a postcard. So that's really the beauty of it. And then the hotels are never crowded, and it's you and nature and the manner of the destination. You know, I wanted to talk about that first, but then as far as the favorite, you know, my favorite islands. So you do have a lot of islands in the in Tahiti, but each of them really offer a different experience. I like the cliffs and the mountains of Moorea. I like having more contact with locals. So Moorea has about 16,000 people living on the island, and Bora Bora, for example, has 8,000. But Bora Bora will be more about the water, the experience. I always call Bora Bora the Saint-Tropez of Tahiti, you know, so it's going to be a very resort-driven as well. But personally, my favorite island is Moorea, I want to say. I like the mountain that falls in the water. I mean, it's just, for me, it's quite unbelievable.
Well, I think it's interesting because we all know now what social distancing is. It's very new concept, very important concept for us now, but it really was invented in the islands of Tahiti. It was known as privacy. Privacy of your overwater bungalow or beach bungalow, separate lodging, lots of outdoor dining experiences, no high-rise interior hotels. I mean, with 80 degrees pretty much year-round above and below the water, you're going to be outside a lot.
She's very correct when she says, actually, we knew social distancing as seclusion and privacy, and that's what the islands is all about. You know, when you're at a hotel, even if the hotels are full capacity, you feel it's actually empty because people like to go in their overwater bungalows or be in the water snorkeling. It just naturally happens, social distancing. So it's not like, as you said, going to Miami or to New York and where you're going to feel it more. It's going to be more inconvenient. Over there, it's really natural.
An average hotel is only like 80 rooms. I think that's
yes,
one
exactly.
of the, it's not very large.
Yeah, on Moorea you have like 3-4 hotels. I mean, it's a very, very remote and luxury destination. And the people who get to experience it are very lucky. I mean, when you think about Bora Bora, you have an average 10 hotels. It's incredible if you get to experience it.
Yeah. And Rolf, how do we get there? Like, tell us, like, what's like in the time of COVID, you know, getting places, and it's pretty easy. Like Christina said, 3-hour difference. There's no jet lag after you get on the plane, right? And so with 2
or 3 hours, depending on the time of year.
But I mean, I'm saying that's nothing compared to, you know, some of the other places you can go because you don't cross the time zone and timeline. So yeah, Rolf. So currently, you know, we have LA flights in San Francisco. What about, is there any East Coast lift, or how do most people get to the islands?
We include air on our cruises from Los Angeles and San Francisco. It's changed a little because of the COVID situation, but Air Tahiti Nui from LA, as Tina knows, being a Southern California resident, is the most common way of packaging the air and the cruise together in one seamless package, where you're, you know, the meet at the airport, the transfers, anything that's needed, it's all packaged seamlessly. So that's the most common way to book it, but people can book cruise only to get there, and obviously some do that as well. So the air has been augmented by San Francisco flights recently, and United and French B, although some changes have occurred because of COVID now, obviously. But we generally encourage to do the air and the cruise together when we do a package with clients. So that's the normal way, and then it's more seamless completely that way, obviously.
Well, let's get to the fun parts, guys. Let's see. Let's talk food and culture. And what's some of your favorite meals that you've had? What are some of the dishes that you're like, man, I can't wait to get to the islands and eat this or drink this cocktail?
I would say, I mean, I'm doing a lot of gardening right now and planting, eating tomatoes and everything for my garden, which is really nice. But it reminds me of that whole beach to table dining experience in the islands of Tahiti that I love so much. but I have to go with the sashimi with the cabbage and that teriyaki sauce, and how every place you go, it's just a little different. It's so fresh. I really am craving that.
But food is also about scenery for me. So one of my favorite things to do is actually to go to Coco Beach, which is on Moorea. So you can have that lunch, enjoy a lunch there as part of your snorkeling experience or excursion. Or you can also take a private boat on the beach, private boat to get to the island, on a little islet. So I just love going there, do a little bit of snorkeling, and then, eat my little tartare. So it's just like a beautiful side of the island of Moorea. We always think of Bora Bora for whatever is, about the lagoon, but Moorea has a lot to offer too, and that's why I like this island so much. So definitely a tartare and Coco Beach.
Yeah, I have to say that I did like everything with coconuts, but also in our first location, the kanji they had, you know me, I felt
that's true in the morning,
how much kanji can you eat? And I'm
On
like, I
breakfast.
can eat it all day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, just bring it. But so Rolf, you had everything on the ship, you have everything on board, you have the selection of the whole world. Is there something you're looking forward to having when you go back?
But definitely, there are 3 dining venues on the ship. The main one, which is kind of continental cuisine and accented by the Tahitian food as well, the French Polynesian menu. But then there's another that is more of a French accented one. But then my favorite dining venue on board is called Le Grill, which is more of a Tahitian Asian fusion menu because of that part of the world being subject to so many influences. And they have a seafood brochette. And Christina, did you have that in the grill? It is.
Yeah.
It was the most delicious seafood I've ever had in my life. And I just flocked to that dining venue over and over again to have that seafood brochette. Very simple, could be, grilled ahi. But again, echoing what Tina said, part of the enjoyment of that food that makes it so incredibly delicious and aspirational to want to have again is where you're having it. And dining there on the ship, looking out over Bora Bora as the sun has set, there's not much more romantic and inspiring than that in the world to me. So it is kind of hypnotic, and the food is just better because of that.
For me, I'm a foodie, so I need to love the food of a given country for me to travel to that country, And the beauty of Tahiti is that it's really like you have this beautiful fusion of different cuisine. Like you can have Chinese products, of course, French delicacies are very omnipresent as well, and you get also the baguette, the pastries, the beautiful wine and cheese that are from France. But then again, you have the Tahitian also food, which is great. They have what they call ahima. So what's traditional for them is to cook pork and different starches and vegetable in an underground oven every Sunday. Actually, that's what locals do. So here you can have experience a Tahitian feast, but then on another night you can have a fabulous French, meal with French delicacies and chefs that use French skills, And the following day you have Chinese food also. So it's all about eating and drinking there, I guess.
That's right. And when a French person says it, it means way more than us and so it's true. If Tina approves the baguettes and the brie and all the other food, it's a high bar to match. But guys, you'll be remiss on a channel run by travel professionals for travel dreamers out there. Let's talk about us a little bit, just a little bit. So me and Christina are both Tahiti Tiare specialists. Christina can talk about it a little more and, share kind of like what this means being specialist in the country. So how is your relationship with travel professionals? What is the value they bring to you? What are some of the reasons that you really are, going out there and telling people that, especially after, in COVID times and after, this is really the way to go? Christina, let's
Well,
start with you about the Tahiti Tiare, and then we'll get to our friends and, in the business and just
Well,
friends.
I think the Tahiti Tiare program is really great. And, let me just mention that the Tiare flower is the national flower of Tahiti, and it's part of the gardenia family. And so it has this beautiful, beautiful, fragrant smell. If you can imagine a gardenia that's really strong, a Tiare is that, but just a different varietal, let's just say. And you see the Tiare flowers everywhere on the Paul Gauguin in destination in the different islands. Actually, Air Tahiti Nui, when you board the plane, they immediately hand you a Tiare flower to welcome you. And there's a lot of significance which side you wear it on. There's lots of stories. But I just wanted to start with that because that's why the Tahiti tourism has called Tiare specialists such as Andre and myself, who study the destination, been to the destination, and have completed workshops and tests on it to have a broad sense of knowledge, because it is complicated in terms of logistics, and it can be a trip of a lifetime, although I prefer to go as often as I can. You want to make sure you get it right. And so the Tiare Specialist Program, put together by Tahiti Tourism North America, is, in my opinion, a great program. It helps to keep us abreast of what's going on, learning about new openings. When we're talking about food, we could talk about the roulettes in Papeete that are the original food truck before we all heard about food trucks, or dining with your feet in the sand in a private motu, up to Villa Mahana, 6 tables in paradise in Bora Bora. So there's so many different levels of dining experiences, and the Tiare program, which Tahiti Tourism has put on, is an indicator that we have kind of continued to learn about the destination, are serious about getting more information and passing it along to our guests and clients and partners. And we're able to have connections in destination. So if and when something goes sideways, we're here to help our clients.
Travel advisors are very important when booking Tahiti. It's actually a must, I will say. We've had clients saying, "Oh, we just landed in Papeete, for instance, and while they booked a hotel on Moorea." So the client doesn't even know that Moorea is a different island. So it is important for the travel advisor to really guide you. It's a pretty unique trip, and you want to make it fabulous. Plus, not only during COVID times, I would say even more essential to have a travel advisor guide you through the islands, just in case, you have to come back home earlier or anything like that. But, they get special amenities, special offers. So there is a lot of added values going through a travel advisor. And Tahiti is definitely one of those destinations when you want to go through an amazing Tahiti specialist that know the islands inside out, for sure.
Rolf, what about you?
Well, I will echo what Tina just said, full throat. This is a destination, Tahiti in general, French Polynesia, that is so unusual and so unique that I'll just give you one example to echo what Tina said. Moorea, to me, is my favorite island as well, because it is larger than Bora Bora. It has more expanse and more cultural differences and so forth. But here's an example. There's this amazing hike called Magic Mountain that is like a 2-hour round trip, depending on how fast you're going. It's gorgeous, stunning. You climb very high up through this beautiful, lush, tropical kind of rainforest. You get to the top, and there's a walkway that you get to this perch, and you look out over the water, and it's just glorious. You're not going to find that easily if you go online and just go Tahiti, Moorea, whatever. But the last time I was there, about 1.5 years ago, I did that hike by myself. The agents were doing their thing, I was doing mine. And I passed one couple coming down and one guy when I was going down, going up. And I thought to myself, this is one of the most beautiful places on earth, literally. And I passed 3 people in 2 hours. And in Hawaii, you'd have a trail of people, like, going up and down. You'd be surrounded by people. And so talk about social distancing, but talk about an experience that's unique and solitary and something you'll never forget for the beauty. And you won't find that online. The same thing on all the islands. It's just, there are huge benefits. And if something goes wrong, especially in the COVID age, you want an ally other than something on the internet. You want somebody right there that can help you and assist with anything that may happen, because it's a more unpredictable, uncertain time now than ever. So absolutely, very, very few of our bookings come from anything other than the travel advisor community, and we want to keep it that way.
And logistically also, a lot of people think they know, again, they think they can just, you know, take a taxi from Bora Bora, and you're like, no, you're not, you know. It's just like, they don't know if they have to take a ferry, a boat, a train, I mean, you know, another train in Tahiti, but, or a flight. So really, it's very different. So definitely important to have an amazing Tahiti specialist, travel advisor, guide you through the islands for sure. And not to miss the most amazing experiences. For sure.
Christine, do you have something to add?
Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention was just yesterday I read online a prominent travel journalist and writer. Really kind of made me sad, because he said he had booked his French Polynesia trip. It got postponed due to the shelter in place, got postponed again. And then, since the hotel he was staying at is closing for renovations for 18 months, he can't go now, and he needs to have a test and he can't go. I thought to myself, I have clients that were supposed to stay at that hotel, the Le Meridian, and they were protected complimentary at the Conrad at no additional cost. Had he booked with the travel advisor, Tiare specialist, we all know that information. We could have just, you know, easily given him that complimentary upgrade. Also advised him of the testing centers that are in Los Angeles that are having a 30-minute turnaround time. It just made me sad that it was out there that, I can't go because of these reasons. When Andre, you and I talk about this stuff all the time, we know for sure that that wasn't the case. We could have just easily rebooked them someplace else. So yeah, I just think it's like missing, it's like leaving money on the table when you don't book with a Tahiti Tiare advisor, because we're there to enhance your trip and enrich it.
Yeah.
And you know everybody, the Tahiti community is very small, so we all know each other. We're all there to support each other. So when it comes to, you know, your clients and everyone, we'll all do, you know, we'll do our best to do everything for everybody. So that's what I love about working for Tahiti. It's, you know, all the people you know, and we're like a big family, really.
Very, very good point.
It's just like France and Italy, right, Tina? Everybody helps you so easily. I'm being
exactly.
I love Italy. I can't. It's different.
Well, guys.
But no, that's a really important point to make. Every booking that is made for Tahiti is a very important booking, because usually it's a high-end booking, because it's an expensive destination by nature. It's so remote, everything comes from so far away, it adds to the cost. And you know, but it's such a dramatically beautiful and wonderful place to visit. But because more people visit Hawaii in 1 week than visit all the 118 islands of French Polynesia in 1 year, then every booking matters that much more, as opposed to, they're churning out those Hawaii bookings, you know. This is very different. And the Paul Gauguin is only a small 332 capacity ship. It's not 2,500 people. And by the way, not to, you know, mention all that, it's specifically about Paul Gauguin, but the only way to cruise Tahiti is in a small ship, not one of those large mega ships that's on its way to Australia or the world cruise. It changes the entire experience of an island when you are getting off with 1,500 or 1,200 other people.
Well, for one, that ship was actually built for the lagoons of Tahiti.
Right,
It's
exactly.
a different way of experiencing it than, you know, those big cruise ships. I don't even know how they get to the lagoon, but
right, exactly. But your point, Tina, I mean, 8,000 people live on Bora Bora. If you bring a ship in with 1,500 people one day, you're adding 20% to the population that day. Everything is different when you walk around, when you see the sights. It changes everything, and not in a good way. In a less than good way.
One of my favorite experiences on the Paul Gauguin was the Les Gauguins, who were dancing and playing the ukulele and playing the drums, and you just get this real flavor of Mana in the islands. I think I may have told this story before, Rolf, but we were taking the tender, the little boat, to take you to the island from the ship, and I saw one of the Les Gauguins, and she was making this beautiful flower crown, and I said, "Oh, that's so pretty. I love that." And she says, "Oh, I'll make you one." I thought, oh, in my mind, that's wonderful. She said that. Thank you. That's so nice. But she's not going to. She's busy, and she's probably visiting her family for the day. And we had a wonderful time in Hawaii and the beach, and we snorkeled and all this. Then we get back to the room. The flower crown was in my room.
Yeah.
She not only
Oh,
remembered
wow.
me, I mean, it's really like, and that's common, you know, in the Islands of Tahiti, where people remember you, or they notice that, oh, you like to dance. Well, let's give you a dance class. I mean, there's this attention to personal connection and attention to community, and this feeling we're all in it together. So it's, you leave feeling very like you matter and very special.
Exactly. Well, and let me add to that. When on the same cruise that I was with you on, some friends we rode around Bora Bora on bicycles. We rented $15 a day for the whole day to rent a bike, and one-speed flat tire bikes. But we rode all around the island leisurely. I would say at least 90% of the locals we would pass would wave and say Yorana, Yorana, hello in Tahitian. And it was just such a warmth and genuine, lovely vibe that they give you. And they're happy to have you there. They're happy to see you. And I was saying to these friends, I was saying, that ain't happening in Hawaii. You're not going to have these people, hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you? And it just made us feel really good every time, and most everyone did say hello and the baguettes and, in their mailbox slots and everything, just beautiful experience.
Okay,
And
guys.
because it's such a small cruise ship, I'm sorry, Andre, it's a small cruise ship, so a lot of the hotels don't have many rooms either. So you are able to cater, to your guests, to add like special touches, and do those kind of amazing things that you received actually, Christina. So that's the benefit of having a smaller cruise ship, or a lot of smaller hotels, in the islands. So.
On a serious note, so are you guys yourself personally ready to travel? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel that this is the time now, or are you waiting till the vaccine? Like, for me, as I said, I have my parents that I take care of. I have some responsibility. So it's definitely a lot of things to weigh, with the responsibility, and do I want to take the chance? So that's where I'm at. And every time when I talk to my clients, I do kind of trying to gauge their level of comfort. But I am planning trips in late of the year, and also from to re-celebrate my birthday in 2021. What about you, Tina?
Well, actually, to be honest, my husband gets 1 week off at the end of September, so we were looking at our options, and he generally needs his Tahiti fix because he's pretty addicted to. So I was gonna book actually the offers online with that are on the market that are pretty great for Tahiti. So I've been looking at that, and then as I was, gonna book and prepare the trip, and I just realized that my passport was expiring in September. So yeah, I'm in the process of renewing my passport, so I guess I'm not gonna go anywhere in September, unfortunately. So my husband is pretty unhappy, as he was looking forward to going to Tahiti actually. Just want to spend a few days with my son too, and I felt like it was actually the safe place to go to. So France not going to be an option for a while. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait for my passport to get in. Hopefully it gets here on time, but I'm not really hopeful. Everything is backed up, unfortunately, but I'll let you know.
I am actually fully intending to travel with a friend on the Paul Gauguin as early as October, but possibly November. So waiting to just see how things settle in with the itineraries coming up now and getting all the protocols in place. I have not been on a plane for more than 6 months or so, and like most of us, and I'm not intending to do any local California plane flights or US plane flights or anything. That would be the first time I would think of traveling by plane. But then around middle of October, late October, or sometime in maybe the middle of November, would love to do Tahiti and the Paul Gauguin, and that's what I'm looking at. Cautiously optimistic about doing, depending on how this unpredictable time we're living in plays out. So yes, definitely cautious, but also looking ahead and being optimistic about doing something in maybe 3 months or so.
Right. Christina, close it out. Let's see. Where are you going to?
I have to say that a week ago, I went to spend one evening at a hotel in Sonoma. And I was so excited to go. And it was a very different experience than I had anticipated. And at the end, checking out, it was worth it and it was great. But I think it's really important that we stay on top of all of the information, because it was a very nice hotel in Sonoma, but you had limited time at the pool. You had wristbands, which are all understandable. But some people were really upset because they didn't have that information. It was almost like Club Med, but like you have to go and it's first come, first serve. So I thought a lot about how when the opening of Tahiti, we have to really give a lot of information and expectations to people about what will change and what to expect. But I was thinking that with all of that space, that's not going to be so much of an issue. So having said that, I feel like sometimes I'm ready to get on a plane tomorrow and sometimes I want to wait. So I just don't know. That's my answer today.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's a very personal answer. And, you know, if you're ready to travel, if you have questions, we're always here for you to address them. And guys, thanks a lot for doing this. This was great. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Definitely was a lot of information. And, you know, I can't wait to talk to you more about your travel experiences and, you know, visit Tina in Southern California and, you know, get on boats and get on ships and travel. But thank you so much. And have a good rest of the day, guys.
Thank you.
You too. Maururu.
Maru.